Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Max for a Meet Your Maker video. For those of you who are kind of new to the channel, I've been doing discussion type content for a while, particularly around Dead by Daylight, and with Meet Your Maker coming out, I thought it'd be a pretty good idea to bring the topics of discussion to Meet Your Maker, just some unique way to talk about some content. Um, that's basically what my channel's been about, so if you guys want to see some more discussion type content, I'd appreciate it if you stick around. Additionally, if you got some video ideas for me, like, please let me know in the comments, because I'm gonna be real with you, I'm kind of struggling to figure out what stuff to make discussions on for Meet Your Maker, partially because I'm not playing the game as much. The gameplay loop is just not one that feels like it's grindy in the way that I could play Dead by Daylight for hours and not get bored. I feel like I get bored after playing this game for a few hours. That just might be me, admittedly. But today's video, kind of shorter discussion, or it might be longer, who knows. I'm bad at ranting. I'll do my best to wrap it up. I wanted to talk about like Killbox maps. Essentially, for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, it's kind of like this level that you see in the background footage, where essentially a single choke point is you have to walk through it as a raider, and a lot of traps and guards activate because you walk through that choke point. Now, there's a couple different ways to dismantle it. You'll see here I'm trying to kite out the guards one by one, and then eventually kind of make the kill box weaker to then navigate through. Later on in the video, I don't know if the video will get that far, maybe I'll just pan ahead so you guys can see my solution for it, is just using mobility with your grapple to basically grapple on the ceilings or the walls and navigate the map in a way that the builder does not intend, because if you don't go through the choke point, a lot of traps are not as synergistically strong. So, I mean, you have to go through the choke point, but I mean, if you hesitate and walk along the guided path that they make you do, it's brutal. But if you can use your mobility and kind of go crazy and navigate away from it, the levels are a lot more manageable. And that's something that I kind of wanted to bring up slash address before, we talk about everything. This is just very clear. I want to say this now because I don't know why people tend to be so combative. Like, okay, you can, I don't know why people tend to be so mean. But point being, like, A, I'm not good at the game. B, I'm running melee only. And C, I'm not using consumables. And D, I don't have everything maxed out. So all of that combined is clearly just like I don't know if it's a balance problem yet, because I'm not good at the game. I'm not trying different loadouts or solutions to it, and I'm not using consumables that are obviously there and exist in the game to help me out. I have a problem with hoarding in games like Dead by Daylight. I got hundreds of medkits and toolboxes I don't use, but that's aside from the point. There are a lot of things, at least in this game in particular, where I understand I need to improve. So I feel the perspective a lot more from the casual player base, where these levels are kind of brutal to get through. And don't get me wrong, I'm not gonna, pretend that that's not true, because a lot of people, like during the Reddit AMA, I think one of the most popular or upvoted questions that someone asked was, are we gonna be doing anything about these Killbox type maps? Because they're honestly kind of brutal to get through. And for a casual player that isn't gonna spend a lot of time on the game, absolutely, like these are hard to play through. And for me, for those of you who don't know, like, I kind of come from an esports background. Like, I try to take everything introspectively. I analyze what went wrong in my gameplay, how can I improve, what can I change about it. And once I've, in my opinion at least, gotten to the point where I'm comfortable enough in my skills and my abilities and my understanding, then I can identify not necessarily something like a problem or something wrong with the game, but I can at least identify exactly what I need to change in order to get better. And with these types of levels, I know that I'm not changing my loadout and I'm not using my consumables. My equipment isn't maxed out. I'm trying the hardest champion outpost possible. And that's probably like step one of my, how to beat a Killbox map. Don't play it. And I know you guys are probably going to be like, oh, yeah, funny, safest sex is no sex, right? But like, in this case, the reason why I wanted to talk about that is because you're not penalized for quitting. And the devs' response to the whole, like, our kill box is problematic is the fact that they kind of emphasize there's no level that's unbeatable. That's kind of their point. But the bigger thing is, you do not need to play a level. And that's probably the biggest thing that people aren't, I'm not gonna say they don't recognize, but like, you don't have to play a level you're not having fun with. And in particular with these Killbox style maps, I feel as though what's gonna happen eventually is people walk into the choke point, they identify it's a Killbox type map, they don't want to waste their time on playing it because they're not fun to go through, they're not, you know, interesting, it's all kind of the same, and so they're just gonna back out, quit. You're gonna get, you know, you're not gonna farm a bunch of deaths from people that are quitting, you're not gonna gain a whole ton of rank because you're not killing them as many times, and so as a raider, you don't lose a whole lot for quitting on a map you don't want to play. And as a builder, you're not going to be rewarded for building a map no one wants to play. And I've noticed this when I've built a couple of my levels. Like, I built a quick, narrow dungeon where you just got to be prevalent, check on all your corners. And people die a lot more on that map than my other build, because when they die, at least how it comes off to me is it's a quick trap, and you have a sense of progression. You know, okay, next time I gotta check that corner, I gotta break that trap or kill that guard, and then I can keep moving on with the level. With levels like this, people feel as though they don't get a lot of progression, and so it kind of just makes sense that you'd want to quit, you know? Like, why would I want to play this level that I'm not having fun with? And that's like, I hate to say that that's kind of like why are not more like people recognizing that, but that just, I don't know, it makes sense to me that like, if you don't like the level, don't play it. And eventually, if people build these Killbox maps and people don't mind, you know, a quick quit in your rank progression, because you're going to lose a lot more trying to bum rush into this 20 times to kill it, unless, you know, you're a god and you can navigate through these Killbox maps. And you could see kind of what I was talking about. The way that I decided to approach the map is grappling the side, using my melee lunge to close distances, and sort of navigate the map in a non-traditional way from how the Killbox style works, and that's how I got past it. You can ignore the background footage if you really want, because it's going to be me bashing my head in another 10 times. And I promise I'll wrap the video up and make it shorter. But it definitely made me realize that a lot of people, I don't think, are quitting levels enough. And as weird as it sounds, like, you're not forced to play any of those, you know? It's like, at least with when I was looking at something like Dead by Daylight, where if you get into a game and there's a killer you're not happy with and he's doing a mean play style, if you quit, you got a penalty on you. Like, you're gonna have a matchmaking cooldown. You really hinder your teammates, so it's just like, it's not really griefing, but it's like, dude, really, why'd you gotta quit? Because now you're making the rest of the game harder on all your fellow like teammates. But in this game, you don't really have teammates, and if you have a teammate, it might just be your friend, and you guys can both agree, let's go next. Granted, I do think that because levels are not balanced differently in a way for 1 to 2 players, that a 2-player approach to Killbox maps would be a lot easier. I might make that video separately, you know, the whole 1 versus 2 player mentality. Check out the cleanest parry of your life you've seen right there. Probably the best of my work that I've ever done. But that's my point, right? Like, I'm not good at the game. I understand that, and it's like, I'm bashing my head into a wall trying to beat this level because I go in with the mentality that, like, if I could beat this, it demonstrates I'm learning and understanding and growing as a player. I recognize a different route to try something, and it was more of like my experiment to see, can I get better and figure out how to break a level by trying these non-conventional methods. And you could see the way that I try to navigate through the level is just melee lunging the side, and it worked super well. Granted, it takes me a few more tries before I just grapple through the end and make it through, but you kind of get my point. That's really like the big portion of the discussion that I wanted to have with you guys. Like, do you find these levels problematic? Have you built any? What's been your experience with them? Additionally, if you guys don't mind giving me some feedback, like, what kind of levels do you like building, seeing? What kind of discussions would you want me to have? Because I like the game. I want to be clear. I enjoy playing the game. It's just the gameplay loop is not one for me to grind out the way that I've enjoyed playing hours of Dead by Daylight. I have a couple discussion videos in mind. I have a few beginner's guides in mind as well. I think I might be, because those videos, not that they take more time, but it takes me some time to like write a script out for it. And I want to make sure that the information that I get across is not only correct, but also just genuinely like valuable, I guess you could say. So I might do some discussion videos and then mix that up with like a full-on guide for people if people are interested in guides more than anything. But I figure that it would be okay if you guys just let me know in the comments what you think. Obviously, I'm not going to steal a video idea without your permission. Generally, I've always asked like, hey, do you mind if I make a video on your topic? Um, but I just figure that with a healthy environment to promote discussion for the game, that we could get to this kind of like a better generalized approach towards Meet Your Maker, where you don't have this dichotomy of people saying, you know, these levels suck, the game's boring, because I've noticed a lot of people are saying something along those lines, like the levels are just not fun, the game is very boring, it gets stale very quickly, and that's fine. You know, not every game needs to be built as a main hour-long grind the way that like MMORPGs I've played are. Um, I don't know. It's just I feel like a lot of people are at very differing mentalities and approaches to the game, and that's gonna kind of change the direction for how the devs look at balancing, how they look at managing the game and things moving forward. But that just might be me. So I appreciate all you guys for watching, sticking around to the end. Let me know what you think about the video topic. Let me know if you guys got any other discussion points you'd want to see in the comments below. If you did enjoy the little talk and you kind of want to see more of these, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. I greatly appreciate it. I might be doing some Dead by Daylight here and there just because I don't want to, you know, get bored of trying to run the same stuff over and over again. But I'll see you all in the next video, and take care. Peace.